Right, it appears that I am live. I'll just wait for a few people to come in, and then we'll get started. And if nobody jumps right in, I might just crack on anyway. Oi, oi, John. Nice to see you, buddy. You read the title of the video? Shawn Hufford simply does not get it. Essentially, that is the case. He doesn't get it. And is it the best the ball has to offer? Well, probably yes, it is. Just goes to show how incompetent they actually are. Anyway, I think I'll just crack on because it is getting on a little bit. I need to get out and earn some money, do some work. Right. Let me start with Shawn Hufford was live last night, and in the side chat, I was involved. I was asked to speak, talk, blah, blah, and I was asking them about the 1 foot observation. So I'm going to play the video for just a second or two. This is what he does. He places the man on this side of the street here. He then zooms across and looks over at the chimney stack across at Barrow in Furness. And he is asking me why I cannot, that I should be able to see these buildings. So wait for him to spin his camera around. I think I'll do it now. So yes, I've just moved it on forward a little bit. These brown buildings here, he's counting these floors, and he's saying that these are industrial size floors on these buildings, and that they should be classed as such, and I should be able to see them in my evidence. And why don't we see them? So not only did we have Geo Streber in there cackling away, Sly Sparkane, Shawn Hufford, the usual crew. And I was explaining to them that the buildings in the foreground, which are these other buildings behind, would be blocking these in the foreground. They wouldn't have it. They were saying these should be visible. And then tried to obviously discredit the observation. So not only does he now agree that there is a sand dune in the way, that you would never be able to see these anyway, but he's doubling down. And he's doubling down on this something isn't kosher. So let me just get this out here. I did a live hangout afterwards in regards to this claim over here. And Shawn Hufford joined in the side chat, and he was talking to me and I was responding to him. So here he goes, and this is putting the text on screen so you can see what he says. So let me just scroll back a tad, go back to here. This is him talking. He says, he asked me to zoom in on the buildings and show the line of sight compared to the building and how it would be blocked. He refuses, right? That's his actual words. Let me just go back and replay that. He asks me to zoom in onto the buildings and show the line of sight compared to the building and how it will be blocked. He refuses to do this. And so eventually I asked him for this GPS location, and he could run line of sight himself, told me to do the research. So I went to all of his videos dealing with Barrow in Furness, an 18-mile target, etc., and he then goes to show a few videos that he's looked at. So let's just deal with that one claim first, that he says that I did not actually, where is it? Something isn't kosher. Just let me get it right. Where's my video? Derp. Here we go. So this was me last night responding to him in the chat. So Shawn Hufford is in the side. I'm just going to put this on pause. And I'm going to read, because obviously this is YouTube translating what I'm saying. Shawn, once I can wait, and I know you're in the jack. And so tell me, where are those buildings on the other side of the building that you're talking about, right over there? Why would I see those floors? Exactly. Why would I see them? And then if you do find an answer for that, please tell me why I would see those floors if I was able to see those floors. This is me speaking. So absolutely, this is the line of sight. Let me just show you that right here. I run it from here. I can't be bothered to go through it all right now. I've done this many times, but I'm just going to put a random line in between these lines here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a line here, Shawn, just for you, right? Just there. I'm going to run it over these sand dunes that are in the way. These sand dunes, it's a physical blocking object that's in the way, right? With my line of sight of these buildings, so this is the line of sight. Essentially, when I go back to here, when I was from a very low elevation, and then I'm looking up at these sand dunes here that are in the way, Shawn, and then when I finally get past them and I go on with 5 miles further down the road, I come to these buildings here, and that's where I come to, and I look in this direction here. So he says that I didn't, he says that I did not show him the line of sight, right? I beg to differ. He was in the side chat. I was responding to him by the name, by his name. I actually put a line of sight in. I showed him the direction. I showed him where to look for a line of sight. And I just said, clowns like you said, these buildings that are behind the buildings in the foreground, you clowns, and they are simply clowns. So let me just show you on Google Earth. I'm going to hide this for a minute. So I'm going to go onto Google Earth. And what I've done here is I've put a polygon in to these buildings behind this big building here. And what he did is he put his little man on this place here, and then he looked across over at these buildings here. So we have the chimney. So here we have the chimney stack. Here we have building 1 and building 2. So if we look at the image that he showed us, so there's the chimney stack, there's the building 1, and there's the building 2. Right, looking across the water. So this is his line of sight, and he says, why don't we see these buildings here? This was his point, and this was all of their point. So what I've done is I've put a nice polygon in here, and this is directly behind these buildings so that we can see for sure the line of sight to this. Now, when I go to the GPS location, which I'll also show you that I did actually put the GPS location in my video. Let's scroll around here and I'll show you. I love debunking these clowns. I really do. So here's the GPS location for the 1 foot observation, specifically the 1 foot observation that I asked him to do. Here's the line of sight, Shawn. Oh, this is beautiful. Shawn, Sly, GeoStream are all in there, saying, why don't we see these buildings? Why don't we see these buildings? Well, tell you what, let's have a look at a line of sight, shall we? So here's a line of sight to the chimney. Here's the line of sight to the chimney. The buildings, these polygons, well, what do you know? The buildings that are behind these 2 buildings are in the foreground, and they would block out the buildings behind. Well, what do you know? Let's have a look back at the image. Yes, these buildings here are behind this building here and this building here. They are behind it. My line of sight. My line of sight would never, ever have been able to see these buildings that he is going on about. So, wrecked. Absolutely wrecked. 1 down, 1 to go. Right, so let's get rid of that. Next point of contention is... what else did he do? Let's go to his video. Something isn't kosher. So, yeah, so he said that he went to all my 18-mile targets. Well, that wasn't what I asked, was it, Shawn? I asked you, Shawn, to go and look at the 1 foot observation. That's what I asked you to do. I asked you specifically to go and look at the 1 foot observation, not 18 things with 18 miles in. So you're simply lazy. You're a lazy, lazy researcher, and this is what I've told him. I said clearly you didn't dig deep enough. He says that he didn't dig deep enough. He's not going to spend too long looking to check. He has no time for doing that. To which I respond, well, in the time it would take me to just drive to the location to film, you could have looked through my videos and found the exact video that I was referencing. and I'm calling him lazy. And he is lazy, because if you look at his actual channel, let's go to his channel and look at his videos. So this dude has 1,887 subscribers. And let's have a look. Flat Earth, 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 flat. In fact, it seems to me like he's got a hard-on for flat Earth. That's what it seems to me. And this is the guy that says that flat Earth isn't correct, and yet his entire channel is about flat Earth videos. So I wonder. You see, I go out and I do I don't do experiments. I do tests, and I do optical observations. And what does this guy do? Well, he doesn't do anything for the ball. He doesn't show us proof of R. He doesn't show us gravity. He doesn't show us any of this. Doesn't do anything. He's nobody. He does nothing. So what you ask, why am I responding to him? Well, I'm responding to him because I am sick of this guy sticking his nose in where it's not wanted and calling other people liars. And I'll get to that point right now, because this is what he did in his, let's go back to this video. And where are we? So put the captions on, go right to the end. So he says there's no GPS given. So Randy, I presume that's just a translation issue with YouTube. You sent me on a wild goose chase and lied. No GPS given. You sent me on a wild goose chase and lied. Thank you for proving that point. This video is done, right? So he's calling me a liar, right? Well, you see, if you go back to the time that I did the 1 foot observation, this was the video that I absolutely put out at the time, 10th of May, 2018. And we talk about my 1 foot observation. So let me show you more. Down from an elevation in the region of 1 foot. This is the first time that I mentioned 1 foot on my channel. It was the first time that I referenced 1 foot. And it was the first time that I showed a video in its entirety to show you my location. And obviously we discussed the images after. If we look in here, GPS for the images I took are as follows, right? Clearly stated in my first video about this. Also, if I go down here and we have some gentleman asking, I have my Google Drive where people can have a look at the images, etc., and see for themselves and get their own GPS. So when we're referencing the 1 foot observation, this was the first time that I talked about the 1 foot observation. GPS is in there. Link to my Google Drive is in there. Everything you need to know. Lots of people responded to it. So again, he called me a liar, saying that I didn't reference my GPS on the 1 foot observation. So let's look at it this way, right? This dude here, he's done a 2-minute 41-second video, right? And it's especially about me. And all the way through it, he lied. He lied his arse off. He said I didn't have the GPS. He also said that I didn't show him the line of sight. That's what he said. And I've clearly showed you here, me showing you that I was showing him the line of sight. I actually call him by name, talking to him in the side chat, and I'm showing him the line of sight here. I asked him to stop being lazy. If he didn't know where to find the GPS, he could look in my videos and find it. Why should I, if he's going to be critiquing my work, why should I hand it him on a silver plate? Why should I hand him the information just willingly if he doesn't want to do any research? If his whole channel is about debunking other flat earthers, well, debunking flat earthers, then at least do some research. You can't just be presented with the evidence. You have to dig. You have to do a little bit of work. You know, you see, I go out and it takes me 3 hours to do these observations. Driving to the location, setting up, filming, getting back. 3 hours, mate. And you can't even find one of my videos. And then you're going to critique my videos and call me a liar. See, when we're talking about lazy people, I would say that you're the lazy person, not me. All my work is very upfront. It's very out there. Everything that you need to make a critical analysis of this is there, and you failed. Right. Wobbly boost. I love you. Yeah, I love you too, mate. Globe troll lies and sends flights to useless. Yeah, they do. Exactly. Let's look back at this. I mean, I want to kind of look at this guy in over here. His entire, like I said, his entire channel is about debunking flat earthers. He calls us insane, but let's be honest, if we weren't putting stuff out, his channel wouldn't be around. So why does he do this? What's his agenda? What's his point? Well, could his agenda be that his channel's monetized and he's actually making financial gains from other people's work on flat earth? See, he kind of biting the hand that feeds him, really, in a way. Because we provide the content and he does the critique, and then he goes and gets paid for that. But yet he wants this information presented to him on a plate. Well, no, Shawn. See this video here now, this 2 minute 42? It's all bollocks and bullshit. You see this video here, etc. Again, you have errors in it. It is incorrect. If you're going to come after me, buddy, you've got to be a bit better than that. You've got to up your game. By the way, I think you need to get some peroxide, mate. It looks like your roots are growing through. Right, Ian. Come on, Ranty. You CGI'd that sand dune onto Google. I mean, they say, why don't you see the bottom of the buildings? And I say, well, there's a sand dune in the way. And then they go, I don't see any sand dune. It's like, come on. Is this the level of research that you guys are going to do? Oh, so sad. So sad. Anyway, so I expect that Shawn will obviously leave this video up. It's had 521 views. Can't lose the views, can we? If we lose the views, we lose our money. So you're going to leave this video up, and it's all bullshit. It's all bollocks. It's all lies. But you can leave it up anyway. And then you're going to leave this video up too, which has bullshit and lies in it again. And you're going to leave it up because essentially it's making you money. And you don't care that you're lying because you would sell your soul just to make a few quid. What you would do. On the back of lies as well, may I add. Go fund me Herdy. You got a link, Ranty. A link? You want a link? You want to join? You want to join? He wants to join. He wants to join. Okay, well, let me stop sharing. And then I will send you a link. Bear with me. I don't want to, obviously, there we go. Sure, I'm not sharing still. Right, perfect. Right. I'll get you a link and I'll send it to you on Skype. Just bear with me. Riley. Paste. There we go. You should have a link right now.
Yo.
Yo. You should have a link right now.
Hang on, let me just knock it off my phone. So something's happened overnight?
Something's happened overnight, yeah.
Right, explain it to me because I'm familiar with the issues. I just want to know. I know that Shawn's a liar. He will misrepresent the point. So I'm pretty sure this is going to be based on Shawn misrepresenting the point. So is it a misrepresentation of point, fact, or bullshit?
It is a misrepresentation of both the first two, and it is essentially bullshit.
So what? I know it's to do with the barrow thing, which is great because that's what we've been asking them to do. But what has he said? I haven't seen. Obviously, I've not watched his hangout because asleep.
Okay. Right. Well, I'll show you now. If you can, are you seeing my screen now?
Yeah.
So we had Gem Panda, we had Slice Barcane, and we had obviously Shawn Hufford. And what they've done is, if you can see the screen, they've got a Google Earth image that they've pulled off of Google Earth. It's basically a screenshot. And what they've done is they've placed this on Google Earth here. So if I go over here, and hopefully my Google Earth will work now, they've dropped a guy. No, it doesn't want to work. Look at that. I don't know what's going on with this. My computer doesn't seem to be working very well at the minute. But yeah, so essentially they've dropped the guy here, and they've looked across at some of the buildings in Barrow in Furness, and they've taken the screenshot from there, and they've asked, why aren't we seeing the buildings in behind this building here? So this is the line of sight to the chimney. So I've triangulated it. It's essentially exactly where they dropped it. And this is the image. You've got the chimney, you've got building one, big building next to it, and then you've got another building slightly lower down. And you've got this building here that's behind it, right? So they're looking directly at it from this location here. So they're looking directly across the water. And what I've done is I've put this polygon in that will give you a line of sight for this. So it's directly behind the buildings that we're trying to find. And they're saying, how come we aren't seeing these 5 floors of buildings in the evidence, right? That's their argument, right? These buildings here, why aren't we seeing them?
Okay.
And I've said, well, because you don't have line of sight to them. These buildings are in the way, right? So that is the point. The point is that they double down on this, essentially. And let me show you the actual line of sight, which is down here. So let's get the thumb with the GPS on. So I'm going to put my line of sight in, filming from here, 1 foot observation, looking across the Barrow and Furness, over the sand dune that's in the foreground, bearing in mind, which we'll get to in a minute, because if you've got a 40-foot sand dune in the way here, by the time you get to this distance over here, it's essentially blocking out about 60 feet. And anyway, the point remains that this is the buildings that we're trying to see, this polygon here. And these buildings that I've just showed you are in the way, right? These buildings are in the way of the line of sight to those buildings behind, right? You're not going to see it. So when we look on here, we're trying to see this building, and these 2 big buildings are in the way.
So basically what they've done is they've cherry-picked, they've looked at what they can see, they've cherry-picked the best vantage point, claimed that something's in the way, and ignored the effect of perspective and parallax with regards to things in the foreground and the background.
No. What they've done is that they've said, I should be able to see these buildings in all my videos. These buildings should be seen. These ones here, right? That's what their claim is, that in my 1 foot observation, in my 2 foot, 5 foot, these buildings should be seen, right?
Well, you said they were blocked by something in the foreground.
Yeah, exactly. They're blocked by these buildings, these bigger buildings in the foreground, right next to them in the foreground. So these 2, this building here, this building, and this building, are in the foreground to my line of sight, blocking these buildings behind.
But there's something else prior to that they've ignored.
And also there's the sand dune. So I said, well, if you want to even want to comprehend that somehow we can see these buildings here, right, behind these buildings, explain the fact that you've completely ignored the massive sand dune that's in the way. This sand dune here, this sand dune here that's in the way. It's at 13 miles or so, and it's going to look it's going to block out a lot more in the foreground by the time you get to 18 miles. So it's going to essentially knock out 60 feet of the bottom of the buildings.
But not only that, though, that's supposed to be curving further and further behind the curve because you're getting further and further away from it from the perspective of the observer, which is
exactly.
Again. So basically, what they've done is they found out that there's stuff that's obscured by the perspective that we see, claim that it's curvature. So basically, they're being dishonest again.
Exactly, and this is the point. So when we go over to this point here, when we're looking at this, so there's building one, the bigger building. There's the other building to the side of it. There's the chimney, right? And they're saying, how come we cannot see those 5 floors of buildings that are there, right? The 5 floors of buildings that are behind, in a direct line behind these buildings, about here, right? Why can't we see them?
It leads to me that there's actually buildings that are obstructing them anyway, not even the sand wall.
Yeah.
So they're not buildings that's obstructing it.
What we're doing is we're seeing floor to floor. We have, right, for instance, we have sand dune here. Look, this is sand dune that's in the way. You know, you can clearly see it. And when you come over here, you see in the sand dune that's in the way. You know, sand dune is there. This building and this building, obviously that's being miraged upon itself, the top part. But they're asking why we're not seeing this building behind those buildings. Right? Completely ignoring the fact that we are seeing essentially floor to floor. I mean, these rooftops here, they're only 80 foot high, right? Those rooftops are only 80 foot high. Go figure, right? You know, we all know, even Timmy Osmond knows that he can't explain these observations. He cannot explain them because it doesn't work on his model. There's no way you should see floor to floor like this, right? But yet they're trying to discredit me by misrepresenting my line of sight, and they thought it was a jolly good laugh in their hangout last night when they're saying, "Oh, how come you can't see these buildings here? Because we put a line of sight into here, and why aren't we seeing these 5 floors here?" Well, because they're not doing any research. He also said that I didn't show him. Where are we? This is the one. This was absolute proof. Something isn't kosher. There we go. So he actually says that I don't show him line of sight. He says he's in the side chat asking me to show him line of sight.
He's in the side chat now?
No. Let me show you what he was saying. This is on his latest video. He was in the side chat whilst I was doing a live stream, basically saying that they got this wrong, right? That we shouldn't have seen these buildings because these buildings are in the foreground. So then he doubles down and he comes back with another video saying that, what does he say? He asked me for the, hang on, right. He told me to research it. No, it's before that. Right, so let's start here. Zooming on he asked me to zoom in on the buildings and show the line of sight compared to the buildings and how it would be blocked. He refuses to do this, right? This is what he says, right? He says that I refuse to show him, whilst he's in the side chat asking me to show him the line of sight. He says that I refuse to do this, right? And I had it up. I'm not sure. Would it be there? Derp. Right, so here we go. Here he is in the side chat. Here's me responding. There's Shawn. Where is he? Shawn Hufford. Show your line of sights. Can you show your line of sight lines again? Right? So he already acknowledges that I've already showed him the line of sight one time, right?
Yeah.
You can actually see that I'm actually in Google Earth right now with a line, and I am showing him the line of sight. Yeah. I actually make reference to the point line of sight at least 3 or 4 times. There we go. There's line of sight with my line of sight of these buildings, right? And I'm doing this especially for Shawn in my live hangout, right? So Shawn's asking me to show him the line of sight. I show him the line of sight, right? And then he goes and does a live stream saying that he asked me to show him the line of sight and I refused. How disingenuous and all is that?
typical of the ballers. They're all liars. Gio's a
Yeah.
liar. Reds is a liar. Shawn's a liar. Sly Sparkane's a liar. They all will literally lie. But what they do is they're clever with it. They will try and hide the fact that it's a blatant lie and make it into an ambiguous lie that makes it plausible that they might not actually be lying, but they're lying.
Well, yeah, look at this here. Shawn Hufford, one more request. Show your line of sight lines again, right? Again means I've already done it once, right? And then I repeat the line of sight and I'm still showing it him. So I am definitely doing this for Shawn. I'm responding to Shawn. I actually mentioned him by name. Once Shawn, I can wait if you're in, obviously it's getting confused with the translation. But I am actually responding to Shawn, and I respond to him for a good 5 or 7 minutes in this actual segment, showing him the line of sight, etc., etc., etc. He acknowledges obviously that I've shown him the line of sight, and then he goes and he does a live stream and he tells his audience that I refuse to do this. I refuse to show him the line of sight.
Well, now, they will rather accept the comfortable lie than the uncomfortable truth. They want to see the lie. They don't want to see the truth. They want to see the lie. Because if Shawn says it as a lie, but it supports their position, they'll accept it.
It would seem so. And at the end, he says that no GPS was given. I asked him to look for the 1 foot observation. That was the crux. I wanted him to analyze the 1 foot observation when I was talking to him, you know, last night. So essentially, he goes through 18-mile observations. Any of my videos that have an 18-mile inside the description, inside the title, that's what he is referring to. So he's popped up 5 individual videos of mine where I don't actually have the GPS referenced in an 18-mile video. That wasn't the question. The question was, go to my 1 foot observation and find the GPS there, right? So he says no GPS was given. So it just shows how lazy he is, because he couldn't be bothered finding the correct video. You sent me on a wild goose chase and lied, right? So he's called me a liar. Thank you for proving that point. So he's doubling down. He's calling me a liar and thanking me for proving that I'm a liar. So essentially, he's saying that his evidence is calling me a liar. He's proving that I'm a liar with this evidence. This 5 individual or 6 individual videos that he's pulled up, showing where I don't actually have a GPS reference for those individual observations. But that wasn't the point. The point was go and find my 1 foot observation where the GPS is referenced in there. So when I go to the very first time that I upload the video about the 1 foot observation, and it was called Absolute Proof of the Flat Earth. It was published on the 10th of May 2018. We have all the details in there. The GPS for the location, this elevation changes, blows the optics wide open. 1 foot, I reference 1 foot again, 1 foot again, 1 foot again, right? So this is the first time that I ever speak about the 1 foot observation with the GPS in. I also, 2 months ago, I've already uploaded these images for anybody to download. They're on my Google Drive. There's the Google Drive ID there. So click that. You can download the images, download the video. It's all there. So this has been up for over 2 months. You can see 2 months ago. So the evidence is there. He just was too lazy to find it. So the fact he's calling, I asked him specifically the 1 foot observation. Not 18 mile, not 18.5, things like that. The 1 foot observation. This is it. GPS is there.
This was the 1 foot observation that you were referring to.
Well, do you know something, Anthony? I'm sick of providing every single bit of information for these guys. At the end of the day, their entire channel exists to critique other flat earthers' work, right? So if they haven't got the temerity, the 10 minutes, the 15, 20 minutes, the temerity to actually go and look through all the videos to find what they're looking for, to debunk that person, why should I complain when they fuck it up? Because at the end of the day, it takes me a good 3 hours to go and do these observations. It would take him probably 15 minutes to look through all the videos of me talking about borrowing furnace, just to go to the description. Look at video, check the description, open it up, see if there's any GPS in it. No, go to the next one. He's only got about 40 videos to go through. It's not going to take him that long. Why should I hand feed him this stuff?
Well, because you're the one making the claim. To be honest, I think it's a bit unfair that he didn't know specifically which video. But that being said,
I'm not making the claim. Hang
on, you said look at the 1 foot observation.
Yeah,
right?
So he's known about this, the 1 foot observation, or he should have been. If he's going to be critiquing my work, he did a critique about it about a month ago, and he claimed that some wind turbine on my actual what's it called? Crikey, I can't even think what the name of it is now. You know, when you've got like a control. Yeah, that was it. It was a control image. So the control image had gone to a massive elevation, much nearer to the target, zoomed right in to show everybody the buildings really close up, so they could get a good feel for what they're looking at from obviously a much further distance. And he used a control and looked at some wind turbines that were another 20 miles in the distance. Just bear with me.
I'll put you on mute so that you can answer your phone. So whilst he's answering his phone, I'll just put in a bit of fill. As far as I can see, the whole MO for the Shawn Hufford's group is to provide the uncomfortable lies that his audience will accept, regardless of how obscure it is. And that appears to be his MO. He's got an audience that is an audience for uncomfortable lies in Flat Earth. People want to see the uncomfortable lies. They don't want to see the uncomfortable truth. And I think that's the reason why Shawn and that lot exist. But let me be really clear. They are all liars. Every single part of that group is a liar. Geo Strieber, Sly Sparkane, Shawn Hufford, all of them. They literally tell lies. You're on mute, Ranty. Ranty, you're on mute.
Got you. Right.
I muted you while you were answering your phone.
Right. No worries. No worries. I'm just obviously trying to make sure that the link isn't shown. So
yeah, it's okay.
Somebody jumping in and trying to snipe. Well, they can't anyway because I'm not sharing the link. So yeah, essentially right. Going back to this point, he did a video. Let me see if I can find that observation. If I've got the actual control in this here. No, I haven't actually got it in here. But there's a control image in it. It basically shows a much, clearer analysis of the buildings because I'm much nearer and much higher up. And he looks at a wind turbine in the distance and claims that as being proof of the ball. When he did a video and he put all the turbines in a straight line, you know, the really blue background one that Nathan refers to a lot with the turbines. There's about 7 or 8 of them in a line.
Yeah,
it's one that he pops up all the time. So they were analyzing that one, and essentially they came to the conclusion through his program that he uses that there should be no discernible visual difference between curvature of the Earth and angular size reduction at distance. So essentially, both flat Earth and ball Earth model would look essentially the same. And then in the next breath, he's then claiming that because there was a wind turbine way, way, way in the distance that was appearing to be lower than the building in the foreground, that was proof of curvature. Do you see the double standards of this guy?
Yeah, they do that with Soundly as well. They say that over 18 miles, Soundly proves the curvature of the Earth. But then over observations just like yours, they're claiming that there's no discernible difference between the curve and the flat. So if that's the case, then how can you prove that Soundly's is curved?
Exactly. And the thing is, I mean, I would say that my imagery is much clearer than his.
Yeah, I would agree.
Yeah,
I would say the horizon in the right place, and it's the same on both sides of the picture. Unlike Soundly's, where half the horizon is on one side of the bridge, in one place, but on the other side of the bridge, it's in another place, and they don't think that's a problem.
It disgusts me. I mean, when we look at his channel, I mean, obviously you saw me maybe touching on this before, but his entire channel exists purely to critique flat earthers. That's what his entire channel is about. So when he's talking about flat earthers in a derogatory way, well, his channel only exists on the back of that, right? He doesn't have to be here. The reason he is here is to make money off flat earth.
He's got to find an
older.
angle. He's got to find an angle on your observation, right? So he's found his angle. So what we'll do is on Nathan's show later, we'll represent the observation that he's critiqued, present his explanation for it, and then basically show how his explanation's not credible, but we'll do it to a massive audience that's bigger than what you're currently on right now. But we'll just basically ram the point home that the guy's found his angle of uncomfortable lies, and he has to find an angle. That's probably why it's taken so long to try and do it.
Yeah, but there is no angle. There is literally no angle for them to.
Yeah, but he's found an angle, so we emphasize the angle he's found and show the reason why it's lies.
Oh, right, okay. Well, there's another point. I probably won't be able to make this afternoon show. So if you guys want to do that, then more than happy for you guys to go ahead and do that. You've got all the.
Well, no. What I'll do is I'll leave it until you get back to be able to do it yourself, because in the absence of you being there, I'd rather get Arwin on his upwards acceleration effect that isn't actually upwardly moving, that he claims.
That sounds so much like Flat Earth Society talk. That
it's. I don't know what planet he's on.
No, I don't.
He considers himself an intellectual, but I mean, he's claiming that there's an upwards acceleration effect, but there's no actual upwards movement. But it's acting like there's an upwards movement, even though the thing that he's looking at is a brick being dropped to the floor. He's a moron. He's an utter moron, and he thinks that I'm embarrassing myself by attacking him. I don't think so. I'm looking forward to today's show. I wish we could do it now.
Yeah, well, it depends what time Nathan's going to do his show. If he does it, if he's doing it at a normal time, then I probably won't be. In fact, I know I won't be able to get there and do it. Got things to do. Let's see. But if he puts it on later, then obviously. But I mean, if you guys are just going to talk about gravity again, then I'm probably better that I'm not there anyway.
So, well, no, if you were going to be there, I wouldn't have mentioned it. But if you're not going to be there, I'm going to attack this upwards acceleration effect that's not actually an upwards movement in the first place, but it acts like one.
Fair enough. Right. Okay, guys. Yeah, I'm going to round this up now because I need to go and earn some money, do some work. So yeah, have fun. I probably won't see you today. In fact, I might not even be around until maybe the weekend, or if Nathan does an evening show. Got plenty on. Need to earn some money this week. So in light of that, I'll round up for today. Thanks, Anthony, for joining. And cool. I'll speak to you all guys soon.
Later.
Peace.